There's a lot of attention right now on Israel and their fight against terrorists who threaten their safety and their security. The Trump administration continues to work hard to keep Americans safe and secure here at home, while at the same time trying to deal with what's happening in Israel and abroad. But this week, right here at home, the U.S. Border Patrol revealed that it has unearthed an extensive smuggling tunnel that was spanning from Tijuana all the way to the San Diego area. And acting chief patrol agent of the San Diego sector, Jeffrey Stonecker, says that the move underground is not surprising for these foreign terrorist organizations. There's that word again, terrorist, be it in the Middle East or perhaps right here at home. So meanwhile, Democrats are labeling these ICE agents as the ones who are terrorizing Americans. It's amazing. You would think that they didn't learn a thing from the fallout over the defund police movement. But nonetheless, here to discuss this and more is Congressman Randy Weber. He serves on the House Committee on Energy and Commerce and represents the 14th Congressional District of Texas. Congressman Weber, my friend, welcome back to Washington Watch. Always great to see you.
Well, thank you, Jody. Glad to be here. Glad y'all keep things in perspective. We sure appreciate Washington Watch.
Well, thank you so much. All right, let's go. I know you and I both served a lot. This has been one of your hot buttons for a long time with your own home state of Texas. But this discovery of the smuggling tunnel, especially given the distance and how sophisticated it seems to be, what are your thoughts about this so far?
Well, it actually kind of coincides with some stuff from the Israel events that are going on, Jody. You know, I was there in 2013 with AIPAC when I first got elected, and Israel had uncovered tunnels from Egypt all the way into the Gaza Strip. And of course, they were funneling weapons, they were funneling concrete so they could make barriers and all that kind of stuff. Not food for the people in Gaza Strip. They were using tunnels as simply a terroristic conduit, if you want to call that, use that name. And so it's no surprise that they're using it there on the southwest corner of our country, because that's what they're doing. They're smuggling drugs, they're smuggling fentanyl, they're smuggling human trafficking, and I'm sure weapons. And so the fact that it comes into California is no surprise to me, especially when you watch, I call him Governor Gruesome, because his policies are just that. When he is wanting to sue President Trump for trying to protect Californians, I mean, you can't make this stuff up. I wouldn't be surprised, Jody, if there's not more tunnels that's going to be uncovered.
Yeah, I agree with you. And it's interesting you brought that up, the similarity between the tunnels here and those that we're seeing going into Israel and so forth. That was the first thing that came to my mind when this was unearthed and they discovered it, and the sophisticated nature of it and the capacity to drive and to do all sorts of things immediately. Because like you, I've been to Israel, and it's so similar. You just wonder if there are some dots that are being connected there. So how does this, Congressman Weber, this discovery of the tunnel, how in your mind does this support the overall effort of President Trump and Republicans to squash illegal immigration? I mean, they found the tunnel now. They're going to deal with it. This is part of a big agenda promise. Is that correct?
It absolutely is. And President Trump's intent, as I understand, on building the wall. Of course, as you know, Jody, the United States and Mexico share about a 2,000-mile border, give or take. And Texas has, I think it's 1,967 miles, whatever it is. Texas has almost 1,200 miles of that border. So we're right around the 2/3 range. So border for us is extremely important. I would not be surprised that we would find tunnels coming from Mexico into Texas. Now, will they be of that magnitude? I don't know. California is a lot more forgiving when you watch people trying to riot against our great Customs Border Patrol. When you watch elected officials trying to tell federal officials that you cannot protect the federal border, basically, things are way out of whack. But I think President Trump, as you know, from all the statistics that are coming back, hardly any people are being released. CBP is releasing hardly 0 people here in the last month or so. And so it's working. President Trump is on the right track, and he's going to stand true for his promise.
Yeah, and it's interesting that you brought up the attacks and so forth that we are watching against our own federal personnel. I'm sure you probably saw that the DHS data is showing that ICE agents are facing a some 500% increase in assault attempts while they're trying to arrest illegal aliens who are living here in the U.S. What does that tell us, in your opinion, about our fight to secure the U.S. from foreign threats? Who knows, we may already be here, but when we are seeing this type of assaults against the increase against our ICE agents, what do you think?
Well, it says to me socialism, communism, because they want the federal government to do everything for everybody all the time, irrespective of costs, like Governor Gruesome, as I call him, because they want to protect everybody who's coming into the country illegally. You've heard this. I've heard this. We believe the Democratic Party wants to get enough illegal voters, if you will, so that they can take over in the Electoral College. They can win elections. They can take over. But for us to simply, for Americans, I'm not talking about our great Customs Border Patrol or our police officers, but for Americans to simply ignore criminals coming across the border, they've lost their mind. They expect the federal government to step back and let them bring in as many thugs as they can, along with drugs, along with, sex trading and all those things. People have lost their minds. We're not an open border country, not supposed to be. This is how it starts with socialism and communism, if you read your history.
Yeah, and you know what is so disturbing to me, among other things, there's so much, but one of the things that just is so disturbing is how Democrats continue to support these protests. They continue to support these riots that are impeding our ICE agents. Why in the world do they continue to support that, despite all the data? It just seems to me that this is just against American principles.
Well, it's not hard for me, Jody, when you think about it. They want to win the next election. They want to get back in power at any cost, even if it means bringing illegals, drug trafficking, that means young girls and sex trade, and lots of fentanyl. Even if it means all of those things harm, you're seeing more and more thugs in Colorado now, in some of these apartment complexes in Denver. You're seeing all of this happen simply because they can demonize Donald Trump. They can demonize the Republican Party. They can try to gain the sympathy of the American people. I think American people are fed up, too smart for it. But that doesn't stop the Democrats from trying to do that just so they can get back in power to do what? Let more illegals in? I don't think so. Not on our
Wow.
watch.
Yeah, it's a great point you bring up. In fact, I just want to, if we can get clip two, I want to bring this up. This is Congressman Maxwell Frost on Stephen Colbert, and he talking about demonizing. Let's play this clip and get your reaction to it. Clip two, please.
We have ICE federal agents pulling up, terrorizing our communities, hopping out of unmarked vans, stealing and, yes, kidnapping people, not giving them their day in court, and, yes, human trafficking them to other nations, other countries around the entire world.
Wow. What do you make of those comments?
You cannot make this stuff up. He's trying to turn it over onto us as if we are the villains, as if we are the human traffickers. He's using every single stunt he can from the villainous, I would call them communists, from Hitler's regime when it was in power. He's trying to make it sound like it's our fault. It's our fault. And the truth of the matter is they're turning a blind eye, although not so blind, because as I said, I think they're actually collaborating with everybody they can to make sure they win the midterms coming up. I hope people are waking up.
Well, I do too. Listen, we've only less than a minute left. Your thoughts about the possibility of the U.S. becoming more involved in the Israel-Iran conflict? I know there's not all Republicans are on the same page. Real quickly, your thoughts.
Well, I think we should. Zechariah 2:8 says that Israel is the apple of God's eye. And so we ought to make sure that nobody destroys Israel, nobody hurts Israel. You got to love our brothers and sisters in Israel. And you know this, Jody. Israel is he's the country that has the most different nationalities. They're very, very fair to everybody that comes. Iran has been trying to destroy them forever. And it's high time we said, look, no nuclear weapons. This is the deadline.
Thank you so much, U.S. Congressman Randy Weber of Texas. Always great to have you on the program with us. Thanks for your insight.